because when I was younger, my mom would literally drop me off in thrift stores and say, here's $10, create something.
The fashion in LA is not really the fashion.
We don't have fashion.
Yeah.
The accessorizing is what draws people into the look. Your hat is like the sauce on the pasta. It's about like dumping more money into the look. It's accessorize it. Because this world is so lonely in entrepreneurship. As female founders, we are the least represented.
Right.
You need to feel like you are that person. The compliments were crazy, and I'm like, I did my job as a designer. So she forced me to become a style girl. Best pieces are in the thrift store.
I don't like to repeat my outfit.
Oh, well, honey,
I know.
do.
You have had the honor of being named on the prestigious Oprah's Favorite Things list.
Yes.
Welcome to the Gen Care Podcast, your one-stop shop that empowers you to live your best life. I'm your host, Leslie Deans Bryant, and today we have a very special guest, Jennifer Senegal Cornelius, the confident and visionary founder of Born to Roam. Jennifer, it's an honor to have you here. And Born to Roam is just not a hat brand, but it's a whole movement. It's a whole vibe. You have accessories. You are changing the game. When somebody puts their outfit on, they are the flyest thing when they walk in the room. And you're not sorry how you are changing the game. I'm excited to dive into your journey and learn more how you are changing the fashion industry. So welcome. Let's get started. Welcome to the Care Den, Jen.
Oh,
And yes, this is the Care Den. So every guest, when they first sit down, you open the gem box. So open the gem box and you pull a note. Any note, just read, turn it around first, the name on the back.
Okay, the name.
Read the name out loud.
I think is it Tanya? I can't
Thompson.
Okay, probably Thompson. Tanya Thompson.
Tanya Thompson. Yes, that is.
Hey, Tanya, girl.
Yes.
Tanya said, just do it. I know that's right. It doesn't get any better than that.
So can I tell you something?
What?
You and Tanya are so much alike. She is the founder of Dream Girls Hair, the Hair Dream Girls, the salon. And she took her business during COVID and packaged and made like $1 million and packaged and sent her product, just shampoos, everything, because we were on lockdown. And so she has been on here and she does the healthy hair care, growth, whatever, if you want to weave, race, whatever, she does the treatments and things. So she is amazing. She's in Culver City. She is my sorority sister as well. She's an AK, but she is so inspiring to me and you guys are a lot alike.
I love it.
Like a lot. Amazing energy. Gonna get up and figure it out. She's gonna push you, inspire. So that was for you. That was that was meant for you because she is a person who pour into people like you do. And so now someone just poured into you in that nature with that. Yeah. So
I hope to meet you.
Yes, you will one day soon. Okay, so just put that there.
Okay.
Hey, sister cousin.
Sister cousin.
How are you doing?
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being on here. And so to give a little background, this is my sister from when we met, ended up becoming my cousin by marriage. So this has been she's a double blessing to me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you too. So today we're going to dive deep into the whole journey of Born to Roam, share some of the exciting news that's going on with you and just how you are changing the game with your company, with just not hats, but accessories, the purses, the belts, making just your pieces a staple piece not just in the community, in the world, because people all out the country are wearing your products.
Thank God.
Yes.
We're roaming.
You are roaming. So how did Born to Roam even become born per se?
I birthed Born to Roam from a mere place of my love for accessories.
Yes.
I am a bona fide accessory fiend. And I love fashion, obviously, but vintage is really what always inspires me to design. And I come from a place of vintage because when I was younger, my mom would literally drop me off in thrift stores and say, here's $10, create something, find something to wear for school. So the styling aspect of my life comes from that place of not having, right?
Right.
Accessories, I think being from LA, we're very easy, lackadaisical dressers, jeans, t-shirts. So, hats specifically, um, having friends that are super fashionable and labeled down, that has never been my story, right? So
Right.
it's kind of like an insecurity of how do you show up when your friends are like dripped in Chanel and dripped in, Burberry or Fendi or,
Gucci,
Celine,
Louis, all of
of
them.
how you show up and present in a room when that is not what my closet looks like. So,
Well, the purses are there.
I mean, but we're
I
just
know what
talking
you're
about like
saying.
high end fashion. So I just
Yes.
felt like the best way for me to represent myself was through accessorizing
Okay.
and hats specifically, because even when I'm with my friends that are these high fashion girls, the hat is able to stand up on its own, and people are always like, I love this look, how did you create it? And it's like, oh, it's really the hat that is
Right.
the focal point. And so I just was like, you know what? I probably should start my own hat line, because I was supporting so many other businesses and not being able to always find hats that fit me because I was wearing, a weave or braids. So that's how the journey began with Born to Rome.
Okay, so being a native in Los Angeles, and you stated that what influenced you, because we always talk about the fashion in LA is not really the fashion.
We don't have fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't. We love to believe that we do, but we're just easy. We're laid back.
So due to what you saw in LA, that was how you, I guess, influenced you with the aesthetics
Yeah.
of creating Born to Rome.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because quite frankly, if you're wearing jeans and a t-shirt, I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt, how does my look offset what you're wearing? Like, how can I look different? And I think how most people can do that is through accessorizing. And that is the easiest way to shift my look, and we won't look the same. So I always have kind of thought like that. I mean, most of the time I dress pretty much the same: jeans, t-shirt, sweater, t-shirt. But the accessorizing is what draws people into the look, and they're like, "Oh my God, I love your outfit." And it's like, well, the outfit is typically pretty easy and achievable. It's attainable luxury or attainable fashion, that people like to say, but it's really the hat that is taking it to the next level. So it is attainable. You just have to be bold enough to throw on the hat.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because whenever you walk in a room, all heads do turn.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
you literally could have had on that outfit a week ago, not per se, but you know what I mean, with a
Yeah.
different hat,
Yeah.
and no one, and be in the same room with the same people.
And no one's going to pay any attention to the
No,
outfit.
not at all.
Yeah.
And you do completely stand out. I like with your high fashion friends and in the pictures and everything. I always see it.
Yeah, someone said to me the other day, like, your hat is like the sauce on the pasta. So it's like almost like the final ingredient.
Or it's dry and then you sauce it up. That could be.
I mean, the
No
look is
shade.
never dry.
No, I'm not
like-
you.
but no,
I'm
but
saying
I mean,
yes.
That's what most people need to understand. It
Yes.
is just taking a very basic look and elevating it. And how do
Correct.
we elevate it? It doesn't always have to be.
And I'm guilty of
putting-
that.
You don't have to put money into it. I tell you that all the time.
You
It's not
do.
about like dumping more money into the look. It's accessorize it.
But my head is small, and you know that. We have gone through this.
Well,
and
thank
we
God Born to Rome has been doing well, and now there
Yes.
are a plethora of sizes, because in the beginning I did focus more on myself, which was my problem, was I couldn't find hats to fit me. Like, my head is small,
Okay.
but when I add weave and
Right.
wigs and
Whatever.
braids
Yes.
and all the things, then our hair grows, right?
Right.
And now that's not just a black thing. That's universal.
Yes.
Everybody wears extensions and
Yes.
wigs now. So, but now I'm not just focusing on the extra large sizes. I have sizes I'm inclusive with the sizing. So there's sizes down to extra small.
Well, you didn't tell me that until today. So that's
Well,
okay.
I clearly need to make that messaging more clear.
You
on
do,
social. Yeah,
because
yeah.
I do support. I'll
Me
buy
too.
the belts,
Yeah.
I'll buy the purses, whatever fits me. But every time I try to try on a hat, we put the filler. It's
Yeah.
still down to here, and it's
No,
not.
I got you.
Yeah.
I
So
got you.
therefore, okay. So that's good news to share.
Yeah.
So Share with me, like, what challenges did you face when finding a milliner? Because you don't actually, you design,
Yeah.
but you do not physically make the hats.
Yeah, and I went into like the business model of I don't have a desire to become a milliner.
Right.
I wanted to find artisans all over the world. Like earlier this year, I traveled to Ecuador to find artisans
Yes.
in Ecuador to make my straw hats. I have artisans in Mexico. I have artisans here in the States that small family-owned, companies that can help me with my journey because I don't have the time to become a milliner. I don't want to be in, my garage making hats. I want to design. My mom helps me with that process of sketching. I have different patterns in mind and textures that I want to use, but I bring people in to help me with the remainder of the process.
Right.
And it works for me that way.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I mean, I feel like in business, if you become sometimes the worker bee, then I can't keep up with the demand. And quite frankly, that's not where I want to spend my time. I want to
Right.
spend my time marketing and being a walking billboard.
Right.
And being able to do other things in the business. And I also know that I don't want to take away from the business by being the milliner.
Right.
Right. I will let somebody else, and I think it's also important to delegate in business, which most of us have a hard time doing that.
Are you referring to me? Like,
Thank God I'm not a type A personality, and
she's talking to me. She's talking to me. Yes, because we've been off record dealing with this.
So I want to delegate as much as possible and not keep too many things on my plate because you do get into a creative block.
Right.
If you are not able to relinquish some of that burden, right, in the business.
You are correct. And I'm drowning, and it's not a secret. I have shared it with you. The listeners, it will be news to them. But however, I'm trying. I am definitely doing, I'm trying. And
And I think to your initial question, like those are the challenges in business. We do drown a lot. And I think especially as Black women, we are trained from conception to, you got it, you could do it. And we become this machine of like super heroic where I know I can do it. Even if something is going completely haywire, we're going to figure it out. But we don't have to.
But I don't even think I want to do it. Like I remember like in high school, junior high, like, you have to take typing. I bypassed that. Home ec, nope.
Yeah.
I'm taking something else. Like I think I took like a civil law elective, anything that was like, I knew I would say, oh no, I'm gonna hire someone for that.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting here like, girl, when you gonna hire someone?
But I think those are the things, when you start a business, number one, I think it's sometimes difficult for us to ask for help, right? That's just not in a lot of our DNA because we're used to doing things, whether we're
gonna
single
figure
moms,
it out.
I just think that just culturally, we try to figure things out on our own. So in starting Board to Rome specifically, I leaned heavily into my community. And I think being in sales, you're taught that. You were working in a pod. You're working with, other people.
I never worked in a pod though, ever in my 25 years.
Never? Oh my God.
I was so blessed. And I never worked internal medicine.
Okay.
Which was scary.
Yeah.
I mean, like, not like that, but all my friends, yes. So mine was always, I was strictly just specialty, and I did not have to connect with anyone. So I pounded the pavement the most for me.
Okay, yeah.
And I think that may have spilled.
You have group projects.
Never.
Okay.
And I think that may have spilled into owning Ultra Care service, like how it's going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes, you are correct, because I look back and they're like, I got to meet with my counterpart. And I'm like, oh, okay.
You don't have that.
I just never experienced it, and which was crazy.
So I think that sometimes when you're leaning on someone else, it does help in some ways.
Yes.
I mean, not to handicap you, but just to
it helps.
The idea. I think it's wise
to
have some type of partner. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because this world is so lonely in entrepreneurship.
It is.
Most people don't get it. They don't understand. They think that you're like delusional and out of your mind. And quite frankly, it's just we're always talking about business. And someone else that's not in business, they're like, can we please talk about something else?
Or they think you're bragging, or they think, and they don't get it. Like sometimes I'm really talking to hear myself talk, to walk myself through some things
Yeah.
because I don't have a person to go to. And so I do have a business bestie now, and she's
Business besties are
been
important.
amazing, and it works. And that was the other network that I am going to build
Yeah.
because it's lonely on this side
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
journey. And yeah,
And I think when we look at like how we grew up, how many
Yes.
examples did you really have of multimillionaires that you can just call and say, I'm going through this? It's not our story, right? So when you're birthing a business, you are thinking about these things like, who can I call on? Where are the resources? And as Black people, we just don't have them. I
No.
think they're trickling down, but still, I mean, as female founders, we are the least represented.
absolutely.
And it's unfair.
It's very unfair.
It's
And
unfair.
if we look at it even further, we have baby boomer parents
Yeah.
and we're Gen X, and we were taught graduate from high school, go to college, and get you a job with a good job, corporate America job with some benefits.
Yeah.
And if you chose to go a different route, oh, what are you doing?
Right.
How are you going to feed your kids if you ever have a family and all these things?
Exactly.
So that was embedded in us. But even the scarier part is, it's amazing how your mom supports you on this journey.
Yeah.
And she saw the vision, because most of the baby boomers era, it's not that they didn't see that vision, it wasn't for us per se. When I say with our parenting. And it wasn't so much, I know for me, like, both parents were successful,
Yeah.
but it didn't matter because it was like, you got to go be successful. I'm not going to be a trust fund kid.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and so you are correct. We don't have the support. We don't have any of that. And it's scary, it's draining. And we need to make sure that we have the resources, the network. But whenever I call you, I mean, you pick up the phone anyway because it's us, but you're immediately like, hold on, let me think about it. Let me find someone. Let me follow back up with you. And that in itself is amazing because somebody's skill set is stronger than the other person's skill set. And I know for me, I hate paperwork. Like even in sales when I was doing pharma, good luck with that.
Yeah.
My boss called me every day. Oh, I know, you called me about that expense report. I'm going to get it to you though. I'm going to get it to
I have one to do this weekend. Yes.
I'm going to get it to you though. So when people wear Born to Roam, like what do you want them, how do you want them to feel? What story do you want them to tell?
Yeah, so it's important for women and the men to feel exactly how I feel, which is you feel empowered. It's your freedom of expression. You're going to get all the compliments in the world, but you're going to show up however you show up,
Yes.
right? Confidence, I always say, is the ultimate accessory. So the same way that I was expressing how I feel when I'm with like my high fashion friends, initially there was this insecurity, but now it's like, I learned that.
Hey girl, hey.
Yeah, I mean, me and my accessories and my little thrift store ensemble is going to show up the same way. So I want anyone that's wearing Born to Roam to feel empowered and to feel the best they've ever felt. Like you need to feel like you are that person. You embody, because some people express themselves in fashion. That is their expression. They may be introverted and, shy, but when you put that look on, it's like you suddenly become this whole nother person.
Right.
And that's how I want my customer to feel. So when I get the DMs and the emails and the text messages, like the compliments were crazy. And I'm like, I did my job as a designer.
So where do you draw inspiration from? Like as far as, because you create new hats at least 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah.
You're constantly shifting. And then you have your signatures that you'll have forever, of course. But you're constantly still shifting. Like, where do you draw the inspiration?
So it always comes from a place of vintage because that's my true love. Like fedoras are easy to find. Right. So that's just a hat that is always going to be in the collection. It is what got me to this point. But like this pillbox that I'm wearing now, it embodies all the things, from a vintage standpoint. Yes. And I love that because it looks like art. It looks
Yes.
like it's very avant-garde. It's very high fashion. Like the fashion girls get it. And even if you're not a fashion girl, you're going to be like, it's an interesting look and I wonder if I can pull it off. And those
Right.
people come, you know, I have to do a better job of doing like get ready with me's and stuff. I've just been so busy, but
Busy.
yeah, but I mean, I always pull from a place of what was happening in the 30s and the 40s and the
Okay.
50s, you know, what were the looks, and that is literally the inspiration.
Okay.
You know, thank God I had a very fashionable grandmother, and thank God my mom didn't have a lot of resources financially to shop, you know, in the mall.
Right.
So she forced me to become a style girl by putting looks together, you know, just in the thrift stores.
But some of these thrift stores have some amazing pieces.
What? That is the best.
Yeah.
The best pieces are in the thrift store. And a lot of designers today, that is where they create from that same
Yes.
space. You know, there's tons that they are creating from it's recycled fashion. I mean, nothing is new under the sun. So I love all things vintage. I love pulling from pieces that
Okay.
have already been done. And when I see it and I'm like, oh my God, I just love this sweater. It looks so old, you know?
Oh,
So
and I
love
keep
it.
telling you, I want you to style me for like a week.
Yeah.
And then because you're like, I need to come to your closet because you
I know.
always,
I
there's
feel
so
like
much
we could
stuff
just pull
in
from
that
the
closet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think I know how to put things together. And I'm a one and doneer.
That's how most people are. Like they want to just shop from the mannequin. They'll buy something here, buy something there, and just throw it. And I get it because that is easy and it's.
And even if it's not the mannequin sometimes, because it is sometimes like, oh, I like that whole
Yeah,
look.
that merchandisers
that's-
know how to
Yes.
draw in
Yes.
you know, customers.
And then I'm like, oh, and then I have it really bad. I don't like to repeat my outfits.
Oh well, honey,
I know.
do. I wash my clothes. I use really good detergent, and I have
It's-
cleaners. I am not that person. I do not play those games. You will see the outfit on Monday on Instagram, and you might see me in the same outfit on Friday. I am not about to do that.
But it's crazy. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree. I think
Like, what has made us feel this way?
I don't know.
I had these jeans
And it's
on
not it's not
3
social
days
media.
ago.
And look, let me tell you something. And it's not social media because my mom would go to Bullocks, Buffums, Robinsons. My mom is a fashionista.
She
like
really is.
Yes, like your hat, she will rock the hell out of those hats because
really-
that's
yeah,
just
that's
who
her.
she is.
That's
Yes.
her.
She's gonna put on a hat and change her whole piece, but she's fly from head to toe.
Yeah.
And I remember her going and back in the 80s, it was all Guess and Jabos.
Yeah.
I had every freaking color Guess with the shirt and everything to match. And I would have all these outfits that I think I may have worn them literally twice in a school year, if that. And then, even when I would cut off my shorts and make Daisy Dukes and, we put little stones and different things, I was like, oh, let me go cut another pair and do another pair. It's the exact same thing. It was the dumbest thing when I look back at it.
Right. Or maybe.
But, well, maybe not. I mean, it was, but I'm just saying, I kind of blame my mom because I don't repeat stuff because that's kind of like how she was. My mom was heavy into clothing
Yeah.
and fashion. So she's like, hey, you guys have this. And I remember how I'm listening to your story. Like I have friends. I remember getting whoopings buying my friends Guess jeans because I had a real job since 12 years old. I'm
Same. Yeah.
making $500 a week selling Long Beach Press Telegram, door to door. And I remember saying you know what? I'll buy my friends some overalls so we can dress alike and do something. I was like, you kidding me? You don't spend $90 on somebody. They ain't even buy you a $5. I'm like, they don't have any money to buy it. Or their moms wasn't going to give them the money to go buy me that. I'm like, it's my money. I want them to have some Guess, so I want them to have that. And I just remember going through that and she would be so upset. And I was like, so I would deliberately make sure I'm making sure I'm not buying anything else. I'm just going to, and I think it has become a very bad habit. And it's not something I'm
here's the
bragging
thing.
about.
If you can afford to do it, by all means, it's great. I just don't. I don't think I'll ever be that person because that's just my DNA. I buy really quality pieces that can transcend through time, right? And that's how I look at shopping. You spend a little bit of money and you base the spend on how many times you're going to wear it. That's how I justify things. So if the coat is, a $400 coat or a $1,000 coat, how many times am I going to wear it? You're going to see it a lot if I'm spending that.
Well, coat, I'm definitely going to, but you are
But
correct.
even like a good pair of pants, I mean, these are free people. They were a few $100s.
Yeah, a couple hundred.
You're going to see me in the pant because they were a $200 jean. It wasn't $45. And even if they were, I don't like, that's just my thing.
I know what you're saying.
And I feel you are not influenced by Instagram or social media,
No.
but a lot of people are, and they're influenced where they can't wear the same thing. And
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
not my reason. I don't
I'm
think.
pulling from the closet. So shop your closet. You know, I always push people to do that because there's oftentimes, especially now, like I haven't had money in the last few years. Because
Stop saying that. Yes,
no, it's true. No, it's true.
You just been
no.
balling on
I'm
tight budget.
Very, very clear and realistic about what's happening. I
Okay.
reinvest in the business to make it better and better each and every
Okay.
year. So I haven't had the amount of money that I'm used to, disposable income to
Right.
buy and shop like I was doing. But I think I know that, I was shopping a lot more
Right.
in 2020 or 2019. So I shop my closet. I don't go out and buy it. I'm like, you haven't worn this in a while. It's okay to bring it back out.
Yes.
So I always encourage, even my girlfriends, I'm like, what's in the closet? Let's pull from the closet.
And you are correct because I have given out like the big lawn trash bags, and some
Yeah.
of the stuff has tags on it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm not gonna wear that anymore. Or it's not something I'm probably going to wear. And I think the biggest thing for me with that is I probably don't know how to put it together, or I probably like, I wore it already. I took some pictures though, so it's not for that event.
Yeah.
And I've noticed you will put some things on, like you'll go to a gala, and then you can dress that same dress down.
Yeah.
And change the aesthetics of it, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So that, I think for me, that's where I probably would need that type of help.
But
with.
that's just my superpower. You know
I
what
know,
I mean?
that's-
Like,
oh, that's your super-
And you have so many superpowers. And I think that's what people need to like hone in on. Like, what is your superpower?
Yes.
That just happens to be mine. And it's always coming from a place of I didn't have.
Yes.
So I'm able to create from a place of,
Yes.
not having.
Correct.
That's what it boils down to.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I have to still do better anyway. So
yeah,
yes.
we will make sure so that we're not spending so much more money on clothes all the time. Just let's see what we have
Right.
in the closet. Yeah.
Because I see the whole list of like 3 pair of jeans, a couple of white shirts, black shirt, like they do all this stuff, and then you mix and match, and I'm like,
Capsule wardrobe. I get it.
yeah, it doesn't work for me. I'm like,
I mean, it doesn't work for me either.
okay, good, because I was
but-
like, yeah.
Yeah, I'll never be that person.
Right.
I love clothes way too much, but the basics are
Right.
important. Have your
And
basics.
I don't even know if I have basics sometimes.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, we're gonna work on
I'm
it.
gonna make a field trip and just come in the closet.
That sounds good. Okay, so now let's talk about the amazing news for you in 2024.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Like, so you have had the honor of being named on the prestigious Oprah's Favorite Things list.
Yes.
Like Born to Rome. Like, how did that feel when it just, of course, it was in the works of taking place, but then when you get that call, it's like, how does that feel? How did it feel?
I think in entrepreneurship, when you are so focused on your vision,
Yes.
you tend to not really pay attention to things that are happening around you. And I'm definitely that person. I've called you crying,
Yes.
and freaking out about things. And like my network of people know, I work really, really, really hard
Yes.
on Born to Rome. But I will say there is nothing more gratifying and satisfying than someone actually seeing your hard work.
Yes.
Because you're not really, it's hard sometimes to celebrate your wins.
Yes.
Whether they're small or big, you're like on to the next thing so quickly. You know how it is? Like
I do.
It's just kind of mind blowing when you don't look at small wins, and it's like that still was a win. So I am someone that suffers from that, and when they reached out to me and gave me the news, they asked for a hat, and I just was like, is this real? Is it spam? Like, what is happening? So I was reading this book called Letting Go that my therapist wanted me to read.
Okay.
So in the book, it's teaching you to really release. And it was helping in my personal life. It was helping me in business life. And that was my mantra for the entire summer. I was
So
like,
please share, because
yeah,
you share good
it's
books with
so
me, and I
good.
need to read
I'm
this.
a nerd when it comes like to business books and anything business.
Yes.
I gravitate to it. So I was reading this book, Letting Go. So when they asked for the hat, I was just like, here's the hat. I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm not going to stress myself out about it because I don't want to be let down and all of this other stuff. And they asked for it, didn't hear back. Maybe a month and a half later, they asked for the hat again. And I was like, that's really interesting. And okay. But
Right,
letting go
because,
part,
yes.
I'm like, here you go. Same hat. I don't know why you would want the same hat. Didn't say anything. Didn't think about anything. I literally told, I told my husband, I said, they asked for this hat again. And he's like, well, okay, well, send it to them. And I said, letting it go. Here's the hat. And that morning, Oprah's hairstylist started following me on Instagram. And I was like, well, this is really interesting. Because all of this happened literally within like a few days of each other. So that day that I got the news, I was at work and Eddie called and was like, did you, because he gets the business email.
Right.
I don't know why this man wants to see business emails. Like, I'm like, please just.
That's the Aries in us.
I'm like, and I think sometimes I'm thankful for it, but he hates notifications. So
Yes.
sometimes I'm going off tangent, but he doesn't like to see notifications. So he clicks emails a lot. And I'm like, Eddie, I got to go back to that email. Neither here nor there. They had been communicating with the business email this whole time. So he saw it and he called and he's like, did you check your email? And I said, no, I'm just finishing up a lunch with the doctor. What's up? And he's like, well, I think you should check your email. And I said, okay, I'm just pulling out of a parking lot. Like, I got to get to my next meeting. So I see the email and I just burst into tears because I was like, this really was a real thing, you know? And it was just.
But a part of you kind of knew it was a real thing after the second time.
The second time,
because
I was like, this is kind of promising.
Yes.
But remember, I've trained my mind to release things.
Because we were talking and you were like, something big is going to happen, I think. So
well, I talked to you.
I know,
like 2 weeks before the announcement was going to be made. I found out. I found out.
Oh, okay, okay, got it.
Nobody knew because I signed an NDA,
right.
So nobody could know.
Okay, got it. Okay.
But no, when I talked to you, that was like
it was already done. It was a month prior.
At that point, I was like full throttle.
Okay.
And I couldn't share the news because no one is supposed to know until November 1st.
Right, until she releases the list.
So I think I talked to you like the week of November 1st.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, before it was, somewhere. Well, we had talked prior because you was like, oh, I'm working on a lot of stuff. I had a lot going on.
Yeah.
But then when you said that, I was like, because to me, I felt like you deserved to be on that list. And so, and one thing you are is resourceful. You are going to find some resources. You are going to figure it out. And you are just a hell of a networker.
Yeah.
And going back to even talking about not celebrating your wins, big or small, I am very guilty of that. So I understand and I can relate to it because sometimes you kind of think like, oh, this is not big. And people have so much going on in their life, so you don't want to. For me, I sometimes feel like, am I bragging? But the reality is sharing them also helps other people.
Right.
So you have to decipher, do you want to continue to share and help people? Do you not? Or do you just like, oh, this is a win. I'm grateful. You pray about it. You thank God for it. Then you kind of just move on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think I know Eddie's good at celebrating you. Julius is great at celebrating me too. Yeah. It's like, nope, come on. We're going to celebrate you because you're not.
No, that happens even the day that the list that they announced and emailed me, he was like, well, let's go to dinner. And I was like, no, we can't afford to go to dinner right now. We have to buy inventory. Now inventory is going to cost like $20,000, And he's like, Jennifer, you have to. And I was just like, no, I don't know. This is the best time. So I am still always very budget conscious. I mean, because you always laugh at me.
Yes.
But I'm always like, what is this money going to be allocated to? So I'm doing better of celebrating myself.
Letting it go.
Yeah, I took the weekend to celebrate after we got the
Good.
news. But yeah, I just think that that's just how we're wired again because we're on
Yes.
to the next thing. It's
Yes.
like this happened. Thank God. I'm so grateful.
Yes.
I'm so excited. But now what's next?
We got more work
and
to do.
And it's not always good.
No.
You should share your losses,
Your wins
and
and your accolades with
You
both.
should share both.
Yes.
So people understand that I didn't just get here overnight. You
And
you didn't just get here, you know.
And that is like so true. So like, how impactful do you think like the daily style, like how a person feels, like do you feel like your daily style will impact like your wellness?
Yeah,
Because-
I think so. I think, you know, I look at like during COVID, we were all like in very
Yeah.
comfortable clothing. We didn't care as much about appearance, right? I mean,
Right.
some of us gained a lot of weight. Some of us
Yeah.
just were like, I mean, we just didn't have a reason to dress up. And I think that does impact how you feel because how you feel is typically how you look.
Yes.
And how you look is typically how you feel.
Right.
So I mean, I'll even take right now, for example, I'm fighting a little something and I was in the bed early last night because I had this 8-hour shoot yesterday, but I wasn't feeling good. And I was like, just get up and just, you know, make yourself some tea. And I've made a quick bowl of oatmeal and just that little boost of adrenaline and
Yes.
endorphins moving. It helped me for that brief period of time. And then I took some medicine. But I think when you pull yourself together,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes we do need to hear someone compliment us, you
Yes.
know, like, and I always try to do that when I see women like, oh my God, I love your skin. It's so beautiful. I love your hair. It's so pretty, because that's what sometimes we need that.
You just want to
you know?
hear it. Yeah.
So I encourage everyone, just pull yourself together. Sometimes I know it's not easy. We all have our challenges in life. It's not easy for anybody, but I do feel like physical appearance plays one of the biggest roles
Yes.
in how we are within and
Right.
what we feel inside, you know?
Yes. And it's free to give a compliment. It
I always
costs
say
you.
that. Kindness is free. Compliment the next woman, compliment the next guy. You're like, you looking good. I see
Yes.
you know?
So, what type of advice would you give to an aspiring fashion entrepreneur?
Well, I would just say entrepreneur in general.
Yes.
Like, first of all, you have to do research, right? You need to make sure that you're solving a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You need to make sure that you are speaking to some type of pain point. And I think that you have to be as resourceful as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I am someone that is not a gatekeeper. I overshare information
Yes.
because that is necessary. Like my ultimate goal with Born to Roam is to make enough money that I can pay it forward and help the next generation or whoever to
who wants to
start
do,
whatever
yes.
they want to do, whatever it is, you know,
Yes.
if you're in tech, if you're in fashion, if you're in culinary, whatever. But I want to be able to say I'm a resource and
Mhm.
utilize my resources because I think that is important because we don't have it enough in our community. So the advice is always be resourceful, be resilient, do your research, and make sure that you're always paying it forward.
Right.
Because if someone lent you information and then you're just holding on to it, like that's sacrilegious to me. I think that's so unfair.
Very
you know?
true.
So my advice is exactly that. Always
Yes.
always know that failure is not making the attempt, actually. So you gotta sometimes take the leap and keep the faith.
Because it's not a shortage of money, it's a shortage of knowledge. And when people don't want to share, but when you have people who do want to share the information, it's a completely different thing. So I do agree with everything you're saying in that aspect. Because if someone, like you said, someone took the time to give you the information and then you're like doing nothing with it.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, so even like now, this podcast was supposed to start literally a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I literally paid someone, flew them out here, did everything. And then I was like, one, I was extremely busy. You know, my company's 24/7. But for me, I needed to do more research. And I'm a big time entrepreneur. Like, I think I was born to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But I knew it took I needed to figure out my personal life and my business life because I was adding more to my plate.
Yeah.
So if that makes sense.
I mean,
So-
it's hard to have balance. I don't think
Yes.
I don't think balance is even a real thing.
No.
For anybody.
No,
I don't
it's
think
not
that
realistic.
It's not.
Because life happens.
It's not. Yeah, we are all focused, and you're gonna neglect one thing when you're focusing on something else. You know, multitasking is not real. But I do think, to your point, doing the research was important.
Yes.
And I think you started it when you're supposed to start it, right? That's
Absolutely.
when God was like, not a year ago. God is like now.
Yes.
So keeping that in mind and not having guilt is important.
Right.
Because we are really hard on ourselves. I said the same thing with Born to Rome. Like, why didn't I start this 10 years ago when I had a lot of energy?
Right. But I think even part of the reason, that I did bring you on was because fashion is self-care. It Born to Rome makes people love themselves more. Or if they have low self-esteem, like, oh, I'm the baddest one and I'm about to walk in the room.
Yeah.
And those are the things that your accessory line is a purpose. And of course, we know how it started, of course, with you, but it does change. I mean, like, I know when I have on a crossbody, hands down, and I buy the extra strap, they're like, oh my God. And people immediately will go and I will look and I'm like, oh, you went and bought it? You were like, yeah. And they don't have a lot of money, but they rock it. It's real leather. It's genuine.
Yeah.
I mean, genuine leather. I mean, not the purse is genuine, but you're looking at someone and then you can still have the long strap.
Yeah.
Then your belts. It's so much that you can change the dynamic of an outfit. And like, so how do you feel globally? The aesthetics of fashion, like the things you have done. I know you say this is not a fashion capital.
Well, I think that's just LA. I think we're just laid back.
We
right?
are,
We are beach people for the most part, and we're not. And here's the reason why I say that is because we don't have seasons in LA, right? So you tend to get more fashion producing people.
Oh, I love a good
coat.
coat.
On the East Coast, because they actually have seasons. Here at night is when you're going to be able to wear a coat because it gets cool at night. But for the most part, we have very predictable weather. All over the globe, they have seasons. There's extreme weather. We just don't have that here in Los Angeles. You go to the Bay, a little bit different,
And it is.
So I think globally, I want that person, that customer to feel exactly how I feel, which is when you show up, all eyes are going to be on you, but you're going to suddenly have this instantaneous feel of confidence because naturally all eyes are on you when you walk in. And we all have our moments where we're like insecure.
Yes.
But when you just pull it together, I mean, there's times that I have to go to events and I'm like, I feel my worst. I just got a peel a few weeks ago, so my skin is like burned under here because it was stressful the last 3 weeks. And I literally was texting my esthetician. I was like, oh my God, I have to film so many days. And so she's like, you're fine. It's going to be okay.
Right.
I have not felt beautiful in a very long time, but you got to push through. I tell you what is beautiful when I throw a hat on and I have distracted everybody from my peel and my oily face and how I feel within is suddenly there's a boost of confidence because I've distracted you from everything else.
Right.
I throw on a hat and some jewelry and they're like, oh my God, you look so pretty. I'm like, thank you. Mission accomplished.
Yes.
I have not paid attention to anything that's happening in my face.
But you can't tell. And that's the thing.
Yeah, and that's my point. People are focused on the hat is the perfect distraction.
Right.
So that I want everyone to feel exactly how I feel. We're not going to feel beautiful 24/7. That's just not realistic. But I will fake it till I make it.
And we're okay with that. So the design and the craftsmanship of your hats versus like a mass producer.
Yeah.
Like, what do you feel is like the difference or any type of setbacks as far as like that can deter you per se versus if it was a big name person?
Yeah. So, I mean, Born to Rome
as far
is
as
scaling.
Yes.
So I don't knock any mass production, but what I do make sure that I am very intentional with is I use very small owned companies to help me. So
Okay.
even though I do manufacture some things in China,
Mm-hmm.
I use a very small family owned business there where they
Wow.
are able to keep up with my demand to some
Mm-hmm.
extent, and they will bring people in to help them. But they are very much focused on the craftsmanship and the detail of the hat. Like, I don't want to compromise that for anything. I want someone to get their hat and be like, oh my God, this is like more than what I was expecting. Um, and I'm like that with everyone that I partner with and I collab with
Yes.
in all the countries that I um, uh, create with. So I don't want to ever compromise the look or the feel or any craftsmanship for mass production.
Okay.
I one day want Born to Rome to be like a supreme model where everything is limited edition. If you didn't get it that time, I'm sorry.
Oh, I love
I
it.
mean, that is my goal because I
Like-
never want to get it. I don't want to oversaturate anything.
Right.
I want to be able to kind of grow the business into different areas of lifestyle.
Yes.
But I do think there's something to be said when you start compromising quality
Correct.
for mass production.
Right. We always know when we buy something and we're like, it's a new manufacturer.
Yeah.
Like, just things that we use, we're like, this doesn't
Yeah.
feel the same. They've compromised. So I do agree. So with collaborations, you mentioned that. So what's next for Born to Rome?
Definitely collaborations.
Collaborations,
Yeah.
like any new directions, like,
Yeah.
what's
So I'm going to
next?
really focus on collaborations next year, getting into some department stores or, I mean, now that's not even, people don't even say that,
Right.
but partnering with some other larger retailers, but also doing collaborations. There's a few brands that I have in mind, a few individuals that I want to create and do a partnership with where it's, that person and Born to Rome. And that is my focus because I think in business, whether it's fashion or healthcare or
Yes.
whatever it is, you have to collaborate.
You do.
You have to have more eyes
You
on the
do.
brand, and my eyes are not good enough. I need to have your eyes and your community also paying attention. So collaborating is at the top of the list. There are a few brands that I really, really love, and I'm just like putting it on my mood board, and hopefully it manifests. And then I'm going to be doing a lot more activations next year. So, and what that basically means is like popping up at New York Fashion Week
Okay.
and doing, because most of my customers are East Coast,
Right.
that DMV area. So, doing some type of gathering where the customer can come and we can actually connect and meet in person as well
Wow, I
as
love it.
try on hats, see what's coming for the new collection. So that is my goal for
Okay.
2025.
What about walking in New York Fashion Week, like accessory hats?
So maybe like
speak it into
I think
existence.
at some point I will do a show. I just right now want things to be intimate.
Right.
And I want the customer to feel the connection to me.
Right.
So that's my focus for next
Okay.
year. But I'm sure at one point there will be like a collab with another brand and we do a show.
Okay.
I'm sure that's coming.
Or you do your own show.
Yeah. Or that. Like
I mean,
I need to figure out how I want it to look. But it has been a conversation a few times and I'm like, okay, for next year, it's not my focus, but in
Right.
the future, I see it happening. Just
Perfect. Okay.
it's inevitable.
So now, rapid fire questions, really quick,
Okay.
one worders. Coffee or tea?
Tea,
Vintage or modern? We know the answer.
very much vintage.
Dream collaboration.
Dylan Lex.
Okay.
They're a jewelry brand.
Uh-huh.
She's expanded in everything. I love her. Drew. She's
Okay.
amazing. But yeah,
Okay.
that's one of my dream collabs.
Best business advice.
Oh God, there's so much. Ask.
Okay. I love it.
Ask for help.
Ideal vacation spot.
Okay, we'll do Seychelles in Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 words to Born 3 words for Born to Roam.
Roam with confidence.
Love it. So now, thank you for sharing your rapid fire questions with me, like your answers. Thank you so much. So Jennifer, as we wrap up, it is now time for you to open the gem box, and you put your name on one side, and then you write a gem for the next guest. And each time a guest comes into the care den,
The care den.
they write just a night. It could be a quote, an inspiration, or just some insight.
This is one of my favorite quotes, so this person will
Oh,
be so inspired.
perfect. I love it. I love it. So I want to thank you.
Of course. Thank you for
And not
having
just
me. I'm so proud of you.
Oh my God, thank you
I'm
so
so
much.
proud of you, and you look beautiful.
Oh,
I
thank
know
you.
you hate makeup and
I
all the
do.
glam stuff, so I am so proud of you.
I do, and you know, I was
You
yes.
inspire so many. You know that.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I hope that you keep shining. I'm really, really proud
Now
that
you're gonna make me cry.
that you have
So,
really
yes.
kicked off
And
all the
stepped
things of
into
your
me.
wildest dreams. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think
I'm very proud of you.
I have big energy, but I'm okay with always being behind the scenes and moving in silence. But you don't know who you can help by moving in silence. So yes, so
I'm
definitely,
very proud.
I love you so
I
much.
love you.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh, I'm more proud of you. Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I know
thank
it's
you.
not easy.
It's not, and we've been on this journey together, and it's still going.
It's never gonna stop.
And now we really want to. Hey.
Oh my God.
Just a little self-care for you. Thank you for being the guest of the Care
You should
Den.
have gotten this on video when you're giving
Oh,
it
well,
to your
come
guests.
on. I'm giving it to you on video. Well, it was kind of recording because you were right
Okay,
there.
yeah, you have
And
to.
then
This is part of
so-
the behind the scenes. We were always thinking about.
Oh, yeah, she's real big with content. She
Yeah.
does not play. So
This is
give you
so
your
sweet.
flowers.
Oh my God.
And then just some self-care. So since you're
Which
not,
I need.
go rest. So this is perfect for you. And it just lets you know that we care in the Care Den.
Oh my God, I love that. Hashtag.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
So
this is
thank
so
you for being
special.
on Gen
This-
Care Podcast.
This is so special. Oh
I
my
appreciate
God.
it and congratulations.
I'm so blessed. Thank you.
Oprah is blessed too to have you on her list because people are going to love your hat.
Yeah, they will.
And then it's just, you're going to be worldwide now.
Honey, we really roaming.
Yeah, you're roaming.
doing
You're
it.
roaming. Jennifer, thank you for sharing your passion and your expertise today. Born to Roam is clearly more than just a hat brand. It's a brand of individuality and expression. And thank you for coming on here and sharing that with us. Jennifer's story is truly an inspiring story and following your dreams and creating products that truly resonate your soul. You can find Jennifer and learn more about Born to Roam at Until next time, I'm Leslie Deans Bryant, your host. Stay informed, stay connected, and stay empowered.